Welcome to Faith Talk. We miss y'all. I know we've been gone for a few weeks, but we're here and we're ready to get into some good topics. And you just want to keep it genuine, real, with everything that we do or say. So, Andre, Dayla, where y'all been?
Bro, working.
You been working?
Work.
Being healthy.
Getting healthy.
And yeah, just being parents.
Well, yeah. I can't say the same. I can't say the same about that eating healthy part. I just ate a whole pizza, so
gosh. I just smashed it today. I just smashed the whole pie.
Yeah, so we want to kind of hint on a little bit of why we've been out so long. The latter part of it has been procrastination, but in the beginning, there was a reason why we weren't recording. So,
bro,
want to share that?
While y'all was laughing at me about breathing hard, it's because I had COVID, bro. That's why y'all was laughing. I was like, on the last episode, I didn't even know I was sick yet.
Yeah. You did sound sick too. You really did.
That's what happened, man. I got sick. Well, we all got sick except for Dayla because she got
not sick.
Yeah, she got like some kind of.
Dayla had them strong genes,
bro. Yeah,
she might have been asymptomatic too. Oh, but you didn't even test
wasn't.
positive,
she
though,
tested,
right?
Yeah, she tested negative.
Yeah. So who got it first?
The kids.
I think Zaylin did.
Yeah.
And it went from Zaylin to Aiden showing up, and then from Aiden, Andre, and then later Peyton. We think that our middle child kind of wasn't as truthful about not feeling well because he didn't want to be quarantined away from
his family, from y'all.
Mm-hmm. Bro, luckily, luckily, God has blessed us enough. We all were able to quarantine in our own separate rooms.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. The baby was like, he was like, I don't know what y'all doing with this whole separation thing, but I'm not doing it.
He was not feeling it.
He is not feeling that whole thing. He's like, no, I ain't doing this.
Well, so for a lot of people that haven't quite experienced it or don't really know the feeling of it or how it feels. So I know they talk about the symptoms and everything and whatever the case may be. So how did you actually feel?
Me?
Yeah.
Man, I sometimes like I have asthma. So sometimes I get short of breath with activity, but sometimes I'll have allergies going on and I'll get short of breath. So it's kind of bad to say, but kind of normal.
Yeah.
To be short of breath in a sense, depending on how healthy I am, active. But I was getting short of breath on the podcast, but I didn't think nothing of it. And then those symptoms it's just strange because it's like one symptom at a time and they're just piling on. I was like, man, it just hit me all at once. Like, man, I feel terrible. And I was like, you hear about the symptoms all the time, but still when you're experiencing them, you're like, man, let me look this up, see what the COVID symptoms are. And I looked down the list and I had every one of them. I was like, man, I was telling my wife, I was like, man, I think I might have COVID or something because I feel horrible.
Let me interject, okay? Now, there is a such thing that I say that's called man flu. So
this ain't that, though. This is not that.
He also had the man flu on top of COVID.
Educate us on what is man flu. Educate us on that, please.
That's a real thing, man flu.
It doesn't say that guys don't get sick, but when they get sick, they get like a few extra symptoms, like like they may want a cup of water with 3 ice cubes in it, or warm bubble bath, or a specific meal cooked a specific way, like in a specific cup or whatever.
So
that and flu, that's what I would say I dealt with a lot.
Look, she was supposed to be my nurse, right? Because she wasn't sick, but she's supposed to deliver my meals. I was in there starving. She was giving me soup. I was like, man, I want some real food. I'm hungry. And she was like, no, you have to eat soup so you can get better. I was like, man, I don't want no soup. This stuff is nasty. I was like, damn, I don't want no soup.
She was right though. She was right though, because you have to have hot liquids and stuff.
I know. I didn't want to eat that though. I wanted some chicken wings. I was like, I want some real food.
Around the house with a mask on, with gloves and all, like just trying to sanitize everything, keep everybody in their own rooms, but nobody wants to really listen. Andre would try to come out without it. I'm like, dude, put your mask on. You cannot.
No, I came to the threshold.
And then he tried to cook for. I said, you cannot touch any of my dishes. Nothing. Get out of my.
What I tried to cook?
That is
because you would not give me no food. I was starving in there. I was like, man, I'm gonna cook it myself. I'm hungry.
Dude, and him and the kids, I started noticing they were no longer eating the chicken noodle soup. So I'm like,
because it was nasty.
The soup, this is for you. And they're like, we want food. And so that was the challenge of feeding all the guys with making sure they eat what they need to eat. But yeah, Andre was miserable. Like, he's trying to talk about it all easy. He was miserable, y'all. Like, he was like, I'm hurting, I'm sweating, I'm hot, I'm cold. He had bubble guts, Sorry for too much information, but
I had that.
All everything, and the kids, they were more so achy and having headaches. But Andre, I think, had it the worst. He was the one that was just like, unless it was the man flu on top of it, I don't know. He was,
I don't know. I kind of enjoyed my time away, Luckily I'm blessed to have, to be my own boss. And so I was giving myself some time, and I got to watch a lot of Netflix, so because I don't really watch TV. So I got to binge watch and not feel bad about binge watching. So it was straight. I mean, the going to bed alone, that part sucks. I ain't with all that. So
y'all believe he was like, you need to get tested to make sure you don't have COVID.
You finna put me out.
Concerned about my health. I was like, yeah, you're right. I need to get tested, and all this. And then he goes, because it wouldn't be a bad thing if you have COVID, then we can quarantine together. I'm like, are you have COVID?
I wasn't hoping that you had COVID. I was just saying, get tested, because if you do, then we could, we could be in the same bed. We could,
I'm like, I don't want what y'all got. I will pass that up, and thank God. He was so sad that my results were negative. I'm like,
no, wow. I wasn't sad. I was glad, because, but I mean, I had a little bit of sadness, but overall, I was just glad that
we're just gonna put it like this. He want to spend some time with you. That's
some quality time, some fellowship, just some fellowship. Just a little divine fellowship.
Hey, so look, I never really heard of the concept of the man flu, but
for real,
I think it's funny. That's hilarious. But I think my wife would agree with that though. When we get sick, we do we over exaggerate.
Yes.
Oh man.
Cause look, we ain't supposed to get sick, bro. We're not supposed to be getting sick.
Yeah.
We got too much stuff to do, and it's just like, man, I can't do sickness. Oh.
Yeah.
It's just all we want to do is just work. We don't want to be sick, because then you can't do nothing.
We do over exaggerate though. I give her that.
But you got to do it. That's the only way they're going. That's the only way you're gonna get a massage.
It's cutting your voice out. What you said?
I said you guys do exaggerate. You do.
Oh yeah.
Exaggerate.
But we have to. We have to, because that's the only way that we're gonna get any special treatment.
3 cups of 3 cubes of ice.
Specifically 3 cubes.
Yeah. Yes.
What's Santana talking about?
You ran out, Andre.
She said he overdo it, and not me. Santana texting the group. Babe, I do not be asking for no 3 cubes of ice.
You have done.
I don't like ice. No, but I do ask for the tub thing. That's cool, but I don't ask for no ice. I don't do that.
So I can actually relate too, because I actually was one of the first ones to get
use it to get in, bro.
Yeah, when it first hit Albany and people didn't know what it was, and a lot of people was getting sick with they was calling it the flu, and then all of a sudden,
it was back then. You just thought you was dying. You was gonna die if you get it. You just didn't know. You're like, oh
yeah. So that had no vaccines, none of the other stuff.
Yeah.
And, when I got sick, it fell over me overnight. I went from
that's what happened to me.
Yeah, because I went from helping out some people, and then I came home that night, and that night it was like
Boom.
It just fell on me, and I got the sweats. I had the fever. My body was aching. I had a real bad headache. I remember it. I had a real bad headache, and man, when I tell you, I was on my behind in that bathroom, it was to the point to where I was like, man, I got to start praying, asking God to heal it, remove it, whatever it is. And we had just got finished talking about COVID, and at that time, people were like really, I wouldn't say scared, but it was like the seriousness of it was on another level.
Yeah.
And so thankfully, I called my doctor the next day, and he kind of, I mean, they really didn't have nothing to give you to really do anything.
Yeah, they didn't even know what to do.
Yeah, so he was like, he just put me on a lot of steroids and some other stuff. And I thank God that he did, because when he did, I got better. I started to get better. I always had a bad cough, but I never throughout the time I had a bad cough, but my breathing was never affected. So it didn't get bad.
That happened to me, like having asthma and some other underlying conditions. It's supposed to hit me bad, but I never had breathing trouble. But I will say, I was sick for 3 days, and then I was back. I was ready to do push-ups. I was like, man, I'm bored, I gotta move. And I got down, I did 2 push-ups, and I said, oh no, I gotta get back in the bed.
You weak, your body weak, bro.
I said, let me get back in this bed, stop playing around. But then that's when the cough came. Day 7, after I thought I was getting better, and my mom called, and she was like, you sound bad, you need to get some antibiotics, blah, blah, antibiotics.
Antibiotics don't do nothing though.
Oh yeah, it can. See, so I went to the doctor to get antibiotics, because me having the issues that I have, whenever I get an upper respiratory infection, I always get antibiotics just to go ahead and get rid of it, so I don't struggle with the infection later. If it gets worse. So I got the antibiotics. I went to it was a weekend, so I went to the ER to get them. And the doctor was like, I said, I think I need antibiotics. Because if you go to the doctor and tell them what you need, they pretty much just give it to you. So I was like, hey, I need antibiotics. He was like, why? I was like, because I got an infection. He was like, yeah, you got an infection. You got a virus. You got COVID. It's a virus. And I was like, yes. But my doctor said, I need to get antibiotics when I get sick like this. Specifically, like a sinus infection. I feel like a sinus infection.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah. So he looked at my ears, nose, throat, and stuff, and they just walked out and gave me antibiotics. And
they don't know what to do.
Yeah. So I took that, and I took it just in time, because it's like COVID gives you a sinus infection that drains down in here, and then it gets in your lungs and turns to pneumonia.
That's when it gets bad for you.
So you gotta catch it as a sinus infection.
Y'all get this education right now that y'all getting, because it's valid information.
They'll tell you to just go home and just wait it out. But if you start getting like a sinus infection and get that postnasal drip stuff going on, get the antibiotics, because right when I got the antibiotics, I started coughing up bloody mucus, which is like a sign of pneumonia.
Yeah.
But when because I was taking the antibiotics, I never actually experienced that, or shortness of breath. And also, if you do get it, get a pulse oximeter that you put on your finger. It's like $12 on Amazon, and you can monitor your breathing through that. And if you have an Apple Watch, you have it on your watch too. But I was just, they were like, if your breathing goes below 92% oxygen, then just go to the ER and go ahead and get checked on. If you wait till you can't breathe, then it's gonna be too late.
Yeah. And the above all too, diet. So stay away from dairy. Dairy causes mucus buildup.
Yeah, and once you get sick, stay away.
Thank God I don't like milk and stuff like that.
And beef. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thank God for my doctors as well, because he put me on the steroids. I can't remember if it was an antibiotic, but I know I had some nasal stuff. And
it gets you on prednisone.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That helped you. Yeah.
And
that's good stuff, bro.
So I had a lot of that stuff that I took. I think I was like a 7-day steroid or something. I can't really remember, but it helped, man. And then once I got rid of the cough, that's when I got better, because the cough makes it worse too.
Yeah, you just be like just coughing just for no reason.
Once you get the drainage and everything.
Yeah.
So another thing too that a lot of people don't know is you have to stay on like hot liquids, hot tea and stuff like that. Stay away from the cold liquids. I know some other people were saying, talking about taking ibuprofen. Sometimes ibuprofen can convert it to pneumonia. I did a little research on that too. So that's why a lot of people were taking Tylenol more so than ibuprofen.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tylenol, sinus and flu helps too. Some over the counter stuff that everybody.
That's pretty much the only thing that helps. Like there's nothing else you could do. You just gotta do your time, bro. That's it.
Well, we gave our praise report on that. Everybody is healed. Everybody is back.
We made it. No long haul COVID. If you do the right, reach out to somebody that's had it and learn and ask. Because I was coaching Cam through it when he had it, and then when I got it, I forgot about everything I told him. So he just tell me the same thing that I told him. Like, drink the hot, don't drink that cold,
He was
drink. They was bringing cup after cup. I was like, what is this? It's vitamin C. This water. This vitamin C. This water.
That too. Vitamin C. Vitamin C. And we still take our vitamins right now, like daily. We didn't stop. So what were you saying, Dayla?
Oh, I said he didn't even want to sit up to drink his water or sit up to drink his tea. He was just difficult. He was being difficult.
Man,
like
a little baby.
Because I slept for like 2 days, bro. I was just sleeping, just like, I'm going to bed. I can't
walk around and move around. And thank you guys for telling me, like Cameron, you guys said not to wear a mask while you're walking outside if you have COVID.
Yes.
But
bro, she made us walk out. She made me and Aiden go walking. And I was like, I don't want to walk. I really don't want to go out. I don't want to walk. And she was like, you need to get up, go out, go. So we got out. And then sometimes I would sit out on the back porch. Man. I would sit out on the back porch just to get some sun. That's good vitamin D.
Blood clots. Yeah.
So I stayed active too. So, but just we're gonna everybody, just take that information because it's legit information. We all experienced it, and we're just speaking off of experience. So I want to kind of switch gears though, because Andre mentioned something earlier when he was quarantined. He said something about binge watching episodes and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask y'all this: how do y'all feel like when y'all find a new TV show or something like that, and the other person watches it before the other person, or y'all don't watch it together? Like, is that a problem for y'all, or like is that like one of those?
I'm a cheater in that aspect, bro. Because I'll be like, bro, we started watching a couple shows, and they look too slow for me. And I'll be like, because I'll binge like a whole like 2 seasons, and then I'll stop.
We want to keep watching. That's the problem.
It's because how they end the episodes. They do it on purpose, bro. They end it, and you be like, all right, this will be the last episode, right? Then they be like, they end with such and such getting shot, and you be like, and it's going off. I'll just look over at Dayla, and then I'll just look at the TV and just pretend, and I'll be like, oh, it started the next episode. Oh man,
you think
I guess we gotta watch, and Dayla, then you be there 3 hours.
Dayla, what you think?
I think it's a betrayal because if I was to do that, he'll be like, oh, you didn't wait for me. Why you didn't wait for me? I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And then here he goes 3 episodes after what we watched together. I'm like, there's no point of catching up. Like, you might as well just watch the show by yourself.
I'm guilty. I'm sorry. Like, when I was working and if I had nothing to do, I'll be sneaking a couple episodes in at work, and then I'll be like, we'll be watching. I'll be like, man, you finna be surprised. I'm telling you.
Hey,
wow.
Hey, but have you ever watched something ahead of her, and then you know how she's gonna feel about you watching it, so you act like you never watched it?
I've tried to do that before, but she knows. She
figures it out.
Yeah, she figured out that.
Why could you not? You're disinterested. You're disinterested or something.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's not as shocking to me because I already know. Plus, I just, I man, yeah. But she don't. I done left her behind on a couple of shows.
Yeah,
a couple.
Yeah, she didn't really get into Manifest. Oh yeah, I watched the whole third season without you, right?
And going, and he would have to give me a narration of, oh, so this happened and this happened. I'm like, it's a lot of drama, and that happened and this happened. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, just watch the show. It's not even fun anymore. Just watch the show. So
and then I'll be like, thank you. I ain't going to get where I want to go. Kicking it in second gear.
Yeah, I think all couples like that feel like that across the board, because Santana's the same way when I watch something, man. And my thing is, if it's good, I don't want to go to sleep. And she gets sleepy, so she'll go to sleep. And then, like you said, when that little question asks you, "Are you still there?"
You're like, "Oh, I'm still here."
Yeah.
Hey, what was it that I put you on Manifest? And you said, he said, "Boy, I started watching Manifest." He said,
yeah.
Boy, I almost called out of work.
Yeah,
he said, "Boy, I almost called out of work, but
yeah, that's a good one, but because I was up during the day watching that. I try not to watch TV shows during the day because I basically want to sit still and just keep watching them. So,
it's tough, man, because you don't know. You just they done figured out how to get you to just the writers figured out how to get you to just roll into the next one, and then you be mad because watch the whole entire season. And you gotta wait 6, 7, 8 months for the next season to drop, just so you can binge watch that junk. But
yeah,
I don't watch a whole bunch of shows, but when I get some good ones, I'll watch it like all at once.
Yes.
So now we want to talk about, since we didn't got into that, boundaries. Do you believe that when you have boundaries, whether it's in your marriage or certain things in life, or just your friends or whatever the case may be, do you believe that there should be certain boundaries set for both people?
I believe that some things that we all need to work on is actually making those boundaries known, because if you don't make the boundaries known, then the other person will never know if not to cross them. And so they'll do things and you think that you should just know that's just something you don't do, but you don't know how that person was raised, or their mindset, their thinking. And so you kind of have to make the boundaries known, whether it be how they treat you, how they treat your house, how they act in your house, the language they use. Like, you just got to let people know up front, like, what you're comfortable with. Like, like, hey, I'm gonna need you to not cuss around my children, or hey, I'm gonna need you to take your shoes off when you come inside the house. Any little simple things like that. Just got to be able to be bold enough to let people know up front, so that way you can't expect people to respect your boundaries if they don't know them. So I think that's one thing.
Ayla?
Well, my key thing, because that is something that I'm definitely working on. I don't know if that's why Dre decided, to talk about boundaries, you guys, but
nope.
I am a huge advocate for therapy now, because I myself have in therapy, and that's one of the things literally that we're talking about now is boundaries. And one of the things I wanted to say was, no boundaries causes you not to be able to create a solid village around you, because basically you just always kind of gonna have your walls up, or you're gonna always be in a state of maybe someone hurt you, like he said, they may not know that you don't like something, and so you kind of not having boundaries, it just sets you up for a life where you can be easily offended, or just always on edge, or always kind of hurt, and so boundaries definitely, I think, is key in marriage and friendships, and even in workplaces, and just with day-to-day life. It's just important, really important to have healthy boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you say workplace, what do you mean boundaries in the workplace?
I know, I haven't really worked for long periods of times in normal workplaces, but when I did, I will say definitely, let's say you may not, like he was talking about, you may not like certain topics or whatnot that you may not be comfortable with, or maybe this job isn't really fitting for you, maybe whoever you're working for may not honor. It depends on what the job is. It could be a job where you're selling something, or a job where you're marketing things, or a job where you're, I don't know, doing assembly lines or whatever. I think just in general, I would say your coworkers around you, whenever you have those free moments, like he said, make it known, but not being blunt or rude. But people, when they see you, they know, okay, this person is cool with this. This person's not cool. Let me not cross my bounds here. I respect this person, and they respect me. So I think that in the workplace.
It could be.
Go ahead.
So I'd say it could be you know, too, like some people are, you know, like not okay with like crude jokes or whatever, because going around people's boundaries in the workplace can get you in trouble. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you gotta, you know, yeah, you get HR called on you, you know.
Yeah. now I would say, as far as boundaries in a marriage, you definitely want to be open to your wife or your significant other about things, or how about your feelings, or how you feel, or what you may be experiencing. And I would say, for me, boundaries would be okay. If you know, if I see my wife, you know, basically she wanted to be off to herself, or watch her TV shows, or just kind of get a little moment when she first come home, or even when she's home, and you know, the girls are doing her homework, or it's a lot of movement in the house, or a lot of noise in the house, a lot of stuff going on, or if I see that she just want to just have her some alone time, you know, I feel like that can be a type of boundary too. Like sometimes I can like be annoying on purpose, just because, you know,
You
so
too?
yeah, I do it on purpose. Like,
Yeah, you just want to get a little,
yeah,
riled up.
But if I see that, you know, it's really bothering her and she just really want to be to herself, you know, I give her that little time that she needs to kind of reset her mind and stuff. So I think that also is a type of boundary as well. And I say for me, you know, if she see that I'm kind of, you know, feeling a different, you know, type of way or something like that, she may give me a little time to kind of process myself and get myself together too. And then you also want to talk about just things about like how, let's say, how you are with each other. So if we know that, okay, well, if I say this or if I do this to her, you know, she may, you know, not like that, or she may feel upset or disrespected, or whatever the case may be, and vice versa the same way. Like if she knows certain things that she may say to me, okay, I've already shared that with her, that I don't like those type of things. And, okay, those are me setting my boundaries, my parameters or boundaries, you know. So that's just how I see it from that standpoint. Now, from a work standpoint, us being followers of Christ, and our beliefs and what we stand for and everything, sometimes you have to, you don't necessarily have to say the boundaries, but if you hold yourself to a different type of standard when you're going into that workplace, people will know what you stand for.
Yeah.
Like my job, they call me Deke. You know, short for deacon. Yeah. Hey, man, I know. Hey, you know. So I understand that, you know, they already see that how I carry myself and how I am at work. That boundary is already automatically set. You know. Sometimes people are going to curse anyway when they talk.
Yeah.
It would sometimes, you know, they would catch themselves or apologize or whatever the case may be, but you know, they don't really mean any harm or disrespect. But the boundary is already set there, and they already know what I stand for just by my presence in the workplace. So I would say that, you know, boundaries can be set that way too. So
well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the real key thing. Is the other side to boundaries is the people accepting those boundaries and not attacking you because you established these boundaries, because that's what makes it really healthy. And, you know, seeing like the people in your life, is this person like mad at me because I don't like, you know, watching scary movies, you know, or making fun of me for this? Or does this person go, okay, that's cool, I understand that. So like you were saying, it's really important on both sides. One, for you to establish your boundary. Like you don't have to go around shooting guns saying, this is my, don't you do this, blah, blah. But like you said, you just get that standard of life.
But what do you do? What do you do when they don't accept it? You've already shared that this is how I feel. This is where I'm at here. This is my space, you know, but they don't accept it and they continue doing
exactly, bro. Then that's when the relationships changes.
Yeah, I've learned you
don't respect me.
Not for your best interest, you know, and it's not. Then it can become toxic, you know, and you have to learn when to walk away. I mean, in places, definitely at work, you know, you're gonna see the people, so you know,
it's nothing you can really do about work, really, because you have to work.
Yeah.
But friendships and if they're really a friend, they will honor and value you like how you feel in your boundaries. But if they're not, then they're not really being a good friend. If like if you're saying, hey, I'm not okay with that, and they're like, whatever, then that means they don't really respect and honor your boundary. And then, you know, that's just not a healthy relationship. It's like, you know, unequal yoke, as we talked about the last time. You know, you could be unequally yoked with just relationships people also. Like
what
tends to happen,
friendships too.
Yeah. And then what tends to happen is you getting offended because you didn't speak up for your boundaries. You're over and over, you're getting offended, and they're just like, oh, it's cool, you know, this it's just you, it's just Dre. It's just Dre. He's cool with me, like land, you know, but like, oh, he's cool with me sitting on the couch with my shoes on, put my feet up on the side of it, you know. It's like, oh, he's cool because I don't ever say anything. Oh, it's just Dre. He cool. And then, but you're getting mad. You're getting mad, and you're never facing it, and you're just letting it happen over and over again. It starts to build up a bitterness, and you might start ghosting the person instead of just telling them, like, you know, hey. And so that's why it's good to let people know up front the boundaries and set them so that you don't have to deal with that, and you give them a chance to respect the boundaries, you know, and say, oh, okay, I didn't know, you know, that's cool.
Now I would say that I got some good friends, especially friends at work, because they already know, you know, my standpoint and where I come from and what I stand for. So they respect that. So they're still gonna be themselves, but they respect the fact that I'm what I stand for. And y'all remember when I was telling y'all about how when you're friends with somebody, either they're gonna pull you to go back to where you were in, or you're gonna pull them to better themselves. And I've had a couple people come to me and say, you know, man, since meeting you, man, I've been trying to do better, man. And you know, and you could tell by when you're talking to people, and they'll be like, they start bringing up God, and they start talking about God, and that's when you can step in and you know, start sharing the gospel and stuff. And it's always good when you have people tell you that, man, you know, because of you, man, or because I'm around you, I want to do better. It's good. So,
and it should always be that. I mean, you should, you're headed the right direction. If people are uncomfortable about being about staying stagnant and being mediocre around you, like they're like, something about you, I just want to do better in life. You know?
We're not saying you're judging them because come off as we're saying, you know, you could become, we're not saying we're being judgmental of I'm better than you or whatnot. But what they're saying is like, you're making an impact and a difference wherever you go. Like when you walk into the room, there's a light, there's like a presence of God just on you. And it's just contagious, and it just goes and it affects people. So I just want to make that clear. So they're not saying like, oh yeah, I'm better than this person. No, like it's just the God in you is just like just going out and pouring out to the people around you, and just literally setting the atmosphere wherever you go.
So quick question. I want to go off script for a minute. Who is the funniest between y'all? Is it Andre or is it you?
Man, come on, bro.
I mean, I tell jokes that people have to think about. Like Dre, he's been with me for so long, he knows when I'm joking. And so like even recently we were on the phone with a friend and I said a joke and he didn't get it. And so he was like, what? And Dre was like, oh, she's being funny. You know, she's
trying to tell a joke. It's
yeah, Daily, you're not funny.
Just ain't got it. Hey, she said something funny today though. I was like, oh wow.
She all right. She all right.
every you know, once a year, you know, she'll say something that, you know. I mean, I'm her husband, so I have to give her the pity laughs, you know.
Girl, stop.
Then everybody be quiet and just like
no, for real, stop, please.
Like, oh, that wasn't funny. No,
not at all.
So I just be quiet because apparently no one gets my joke. I crack myself up, but no one gets it.
That's how you know you ain't funny. Yeah, you like laughing at your own jokes.
All right, now who would y'all say is the funniest out of me and Santana?
I don't know, Santana. I don't ever hear her joke like that. She like
Cameron joke.
Cameron. I done been into some some roast chats with Cam, so he got a different side to him that Hollywood don't know that he can roast. We be roasting, so
We said Dayla.
My boy ruthless.
And then like she said funny stuff like not on purpose, but it'd be fun, or her expressions make stuff funny.
Her expressions is funny.
Yes.
Her face, how she be doing her face be funny.
Yes. But Cameron, yeah, he's the funniest one I think, but naturally. Yeah. But Santana, she can be funny, but when she don't know she's being funny, she's really funny.
Yeah. She do got some funny faces she be making.
Yes. Tell it. Santana's face will tell you how she really feel. I always tell
for everybody to know, yes.
And Santana will let you know.
She couldn't hide it if she wanted to.
Nah.
Boy.
So now my next point is comparisons.
Yes.
So when you try to compare, have you guys ever tried to compare where God is taking you in your lives as opposed to somebody else? Like say for example, if it's in your marriage or in life in general, you ever look at somebody else's life and be like, man, how is it that this person not even on point, or I would say, how is it that this person is kind of getting more than what I'm getting, and I'm actually giving out more to God in general? So have you ever compared y'all lives to things like that, or just compared in general?
I think everybody has done it at some point. Yeah. But we were taught early on not to do that, and I think it saves you a lot of focus time, a lot of thought room, like just wasted time. Yeah. We were always taught to, when you see somebody going from glory to glory, becoming successful and growing in the things of God, it was always to cheer them on and just be ready for your turn. Your turn is coming, but also always applaud somebody else doing better. Yeah. Even if they're doing better than you, you know what I mean? We have to always, I guess as human beings, have to always fight that urge to want to be better than someone else. Like, oh man, I want to be on top of somebody, but that's one thing we always stayed away from. I don't want to do no comparison. I only want to compare myself.
Apparently, Andre, he doesn't really struggle with that, but I will say I do tend to struggle a little bit, as far as like what I do, like, because what I do is like kind of in, music and trying to like, of course you want people to be happy and love what you do. And so I don't necessarily have a hard time cheering others on, because we love, like he said, we love cheering people on, being happy when people are winning. We love seeing people win. But I would say generally, and I think a lot of people do tend to compare themselves with like their capabilities or their talents, they could compare that to someone else and not really see the great things that God is doing in them and in their life. And it can cause you to miss the mark. You can miss out on enjoying the journey because you're too busy. Like, well, Sally over here, looking like she's having a good time. And I'm over here stuck, like you said, working really hard. And why is she getting all this? And her stuff don't even sound all that, and that's when you start getting to the whole like tearing people down, like so you can make yourself feel better, but really God want us to compare at all, because we all have our own journey and path to take. And like the late Kobe Bryant will say is life is a journey and you just enjoy the journey. It's not a destination. People get stuck on, I want to be at this place, and they don't realize what it takes to get to that place there. And enjoy the process, because literally not just I made it to this point, I'm done. It's literally a journey. So
and see what people fail to realize is when they're comparing, they don't know what that person been through to get to where they are. Like you
might not want that.
Yeah, exactly. Constantly looking and saying, man, why did they keep elevating? Why do they keep getting blessed? You don't know what that person had to go through to even get to that point. You don't know what that person had to experience in life in general to even get to that point. So we got to stop trying to compare, your lives to another person's life, because your experience and what you go through is going to be totally different. Your battles are going to be totally different from what that person is battling through. And I feel like a lot of times, like you said, Dale, if we just stop and just pay attention to what's in front of us and what we have for ourselves and not miss our blessings that God is bringing to us, we'll be a lot more better off, because sometimes we're so worried about the other outside and other people and not worried about what we have going on. And a lot of times those blessings will come, but it won't come when we want them to come. No, God ain't gonna give it to you if he ain't ready for it. Sometimes he will, but if you just not, he'll give it to you. You asking for it, here it comes. People be you praying and asking for God to do something for you. Okay, be ready for when it comes. Be ready for receiving it. But sometimes he might say, hey, look, you're not ready for it yet, because if I give it to you now, you're gonna mess it up.
Oh yes. And what would you say too about because the other problem with that is the culture now with social media. People are looking at the picture, and so they have this pressure of everything looking perfect and good, and then when they look at their life, like it may not look like that picture. So what would you guys say about people looking at like things that are posted on social media and the real, as they call it?
Well, I'm going to raise my hands, because I'm guilty of that too at some point, because when we got our home that we're in now, it was such a blessing in the process, and how we got it. It was nobody but God. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because how we got it, people will be like, what? It did what?
That's
they sold it to you for how much?
It did what?
Are you serious?
You better get that today.
That will be a story I'll be able to tell. My kids know now, but my grandkids and great grandkids, I'll be able to tell that story on how we got this home. But sometimes when you want elevation, like you start looking at more, you start looking at better. And sometimes I would get on social media and I would go and look at these different types of houses that are bigger than the house that I currently have, and I get so focused on wanting that, I forget what God has already blessed us with. And sometimes you have to not necessarily look at that picture perfect moment at the time, because it's not your time to get that picture perfect moment. Right now, enjoy the moment that you're currently in and what you have. So you have to get out of that and understand that, hey, look, it's not your time now for elevation to get better. Right now, at this very moment, just enjoy what I've already blessed you with. And I would just leave that with somebody that's whoever maybe looking on social media at better lives or better situations. Look at the blessing that you already have. So. That's really important.
I think sometimes I'll if you move into a bigger house, and then after being in the bigger house or a newer car or whatever, after about 3 months, you just get used to it. And so you have to purposely take moments and look back to where you were and look at how you got here, and then say, oh man, that kind of keeps your mind in focus. Like, wow, I did come from a 1-bedroom apartment to owning my own home. And that is awesome. That is very, I'm having success, and just remembering that, instead of just always looking in the future and just always wanting what's in the future and not enjoying the present.
Yeah, and then another thing too, you can't forget where you came from. Like,
that's what I mean. Yeah, you can, don't forget. I'm telling you, like, don't forget
going back to when we were kids, when me and my brother and sister were sleeping in the same bedroom, like that kind of thing. Like, don't forget, lights out, so power is off, so we have to use candles so that we can see at night. Or the water's not running right, or we might be able to have food for this week, so we have to hold out for a little bit, or we may have to eat this, or you may have to eat cereal dry without milk, that kind of thing. I remember that. I remember everything that I've been through in life when I was younger, and I look at how, at being a product of the environment, how people choose their environment over having a better life. I just don't see how they can do it. I can see how it happens, because being a product of your environment, you're wanting to stay in that environment and not you may want better for yourself, but you don't see better for yourself. But at that point in time, you have to decide, are you going to stay in that mess, or are you going to get yourself up and get out of that mess?
Do whatever you got to do to get out of that.
When we were growing up and in those neighborhoods and doing stuff, whatever the case may be, I didn't have my biological dad in my life to raise me, to show me different types of things. So I could have easily said, man, I just do this. This is just what I want to do. This is how I want to be. I didn't do that. I didn't choose to do that. Of course, you're gonna have trials and tribulations. You're gonna have things that you go through, but the things that you go through, you don't have to stay in those things. You can use those things to better yourself and to better your life. So
I would say the key you said too was choose. Like every day, whatever decision you make determines where your future is gonna be. So like, and we always got to remember, everything is a decision we make every day, a choice we make every day that leads you up to the moment that you are right now. And if you don't like you said, well, you are right now, start looking at the choices and the decisions that you're making that could get you out of that, you know? And so like I said, we both came from a place, a fatherless place, in a place of poverty. But we knew that God has just, you know, he just gives everybody a desire to want what's best. I think that's why we all want the best, because God gave us all that desire. Yep. And so it's not always a bad thing, but he wants to, you know, of course, to keep him at the top, you know, of that pursuit. But everything is a daily decision and choice, just like my husband, like every day, the decisions we made, like, you know, children of God, to be husband and wife, to live the life that God has called us to live, lands us to where we are in this very moment. Same you, like
a series of choices, everyday choices.
Yeah, you didn't go, oh, because my dad wasn't here, now you're an amazing father.
Yep.
You decided, I'm going to be an amazing father. Every day I'm going to make decisions to be this amazing father and this husband and this man of God, you know? And so I would just encourage everybody, like a day at a time, you know, day by day.
And that's why you can't get into comparison, because a lot of times when that person is elevated, is because the choices that they're making right choice after right choice after right choice, hard choices after hard choices. All the time, you know, they choose working more, staying up late over leisure and pleasure. And they're doing that at a higher rate than you are, you know what I mean? And so you don't really want that. You think you want the outcome, but you don't want to make those decisions. And so you really don't want what they have. You don't want it to get there. You just want their end result, you know what I'm saying? But you got to make those same choices. And so I see like a picture when you're talking about comparison. It's like driving down the road and you look over at somebody in a nice car, and the longer you stare at them, the more you'll start to drift over in their lane. You know what I mean? And before you know it, you missed your exit, or you're out of focus. You're all the way in their lane when you're supposed to be going straight. Yep. And that's what comparisons do to you. It causes you to lose focus of what God has for you to be doing personally. But some people will see a certain, you know, somebody doing a certain business, and they look at that and say, man, that person has success in that, I'm gonna go do that. And you ain't supposed to be doing that. You need to focus on what God has for you to do. Because if you stay in your lane and focus on what he has for you to do, you may surpass that person, you know what I mean? But if you're focused, you don't even know you're surpassing anybody or you're doing anything. All you need to be worried about is what God has for you, and go after that. And that's what he says,
seek first the kingdom.
Matthew 6:33.
Added to you.
Amen.
You know, seek him, not the things.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, I'm gonna say this was a good one, y'all. They ain't gonna want to miss this. They ain't gonna miss this episode. I think that we jumped off at the right time, and we talked about some good things. And look at it this way: the mentality that you want to have is, you will not outwork me. And by God is gonna give me my strength to continue to keep working and to keep fighting and to keep wanting better for your family or whoever the case may be, or your loved ones. And I want y'all to continue that and continue to honor that and continue to believe that.
And get you some friends that's going to push you.
Yep. Yeah. So as we always say, Faith Talk has been real, but we signing off.
Oh, because it is.
See, right there, the jokes. All right, bro.
All right. Good night.